What's up, everybody? It's Thursday. I have no idea, but I'm going live today about something. So hold on. Yep, we're back live Thursday. The biggest news is that we are going to have a long off season. What's it going to take to be able to get the San Francisco 49ers team back to the NFC Championship and eventually into the Super Bowl? Well, I look at it this way. If you drove up to your driveway and there's cracks and everything in it, sometimes somebody will tell you, hey, just run down to Home Depot or Ace Hardware or to your favorite hardware store and get some crack fillers and just fill the cracks into the driveway. Now that'll look really, really ugly and it's not going to be sustainable, right? It's not going to be sustainable. So what do you do to repair it? You call somebody locally that's a contractor that does concrete work, and they could repair the driveway for you. What they would do is they'll bring their equipment, jackhammers, and pull out the driveway, prep it, and then put in a new driveway. They'll call the concrete company, deliver how many yards you need. And if they're really good, they could just either do a on a driveway. If you want just a regular driveway, a broom finish or brush finish, wherever what side country you're at. So they'll just do a regular gray cement and there's your driveway. Or they can go out and just go up a little bit more and do like a salt finish, different type of little textures and designs into your concrete for your driveway. Or you can have them stamp it, more expensive, have them stain it, put sealers on it, and give you the works. Do the San Francisco 49ers need to get the works to be able to get this team back to where it needs to go in the Super Bowl, in this Super Bowl era? We don't know. We don't know what they're going to do. But the San Francisco 49ers as a organization can talk to free agents when on the 13th of March, and then they can start negotiating even with their own players in free agency. And then on the 15th, they can either, when the new year begins, then they can sign those players. So is the San Francisco 49ers going to just do a brush broom finish for a driveway or give you the works, stamp concrete or sealers, make it different colors to it, that type of texture? I don't know. But come the 13th, they can negotiate with players that are in the free agent market and also negotiate with their own players and get their own players signed. So where do they go? What do they do? So that's going to be the off season, and next month we're going to hear that. In the next couple of days, we're going to hear about Brock Purdy with his surgery and how things will go from there, and what the doctors will determine on his arm, if he's going to even be ready for the season and challenge Trey Lance for a starting job. Now I want to just talk a little bit about Trey Lance. I heard him get on some Rich Eisen show. He did really good. I really like what he said there. And then he got on another show and he talked about there's no chance that he's going to be traded. Which, why would you trade somebody like Trey Lance? We don't know what he has, but I mean, we definitely don't know what he could do. But if you trade him and he becomes like Steve Young or Brett Favre, then why? Why did you do it? So Trey Lance needs to get his chance in San Francisco. He really needs to get that chance. And I believe that he will. Now, the other part of this is what kind of weapons is Trey Lance going to have? And then we saw that there's interest from New England and trading for Debo Sanders, is it really going to happen? I don't want to see Debo Sanders go over there to New England and Bill Belichick, and they go after another Super Bowl and feature somebody that's a good star here for San Francisco. Why we do that unless it's one where you could do what Dallas did back in the early '90s, where they traded Herschel Walker to the Minnesota Vikings for a lot of draft picks, and they got 3 Super Bowls out of that. So where would they where what areas or where would they go? Which way would they go if they were to do that? I don't know. But if they did trade Debo, I want a whole lot of picks for the San Francisco 49ers. And with those picks, get a lot of big time players that can come along with that in the draft, either in the draft or in free agency, that Trey Lance or Brock Purdy will be able to um, take advantage of a lot of defenses in the league. So there's what we have in those scenarios. But the scenarios I like is we go after the players that needs to come in and help the San Francisco 49ers get back to the NFC Championship game, win it, and get into the Super Bowl and win it, and hoist the Lombardi Trophy up at the end of the year. So going back to concrete, because that's what I know how to do concrete. I even building pools and homes. Everything has to start with preparation. They got to prepare these young guys that we have, get them prepared, and get them ready to go into a long season. Now, Drake Jackson didn't seem like he came in and was prepared for a 16-week season with the San Francisco 49ers and then going into the playoffs because and a lot of our players didn't either because we had a lot of players that were hurt. But that's what they need to do in the offseason is get prepared and be ready to play for a long season because it's going to be a long one next year unless something bad happens like in the NFC Championship game where they lose 2 quarterbacks in one game and 4 quarterbacks overall during a whole season. So where would they go from here? It's one of those things that we can look at. How is the team preparing the younger players so they are prepared to come in and play during the season? So there's a lot of good players that the San Francisco 49ers have drafted, a lot of good players that they sign in free agency as on rookie deals. So we have a lot of things good that's going for the San Francisco 49ers. But they got to get prepared. They got to be ready. So when they're called on, they can be ready to go. All right. So going back to what I was just talking about today, are they going to spend a lot of money in free agency this year? They don't have a whole lot to spend. So there's the biggest issue is that they don't have that much cap room, cap space to be able to go back and sign a lot of these free agent players that are coming out. But there are some creative things that they could do is in restructuring a lot of the players that they have right now on the roster that will help them be able to get the players that are needed for this team to moving forward. So those are what I see that the San Francisco 49ers need to do. But man, if they were to not saying that Debo needs to leave or anything. I love for Debo to be here, but if New England were to give up a ton of draft picks for Debo Sanders, then there's something to look at. But what if, let's just do a what if here. What if they traded Kyle Shanahan to New England for Bill Belichick? I know it's not going to happen. But what if they did? What if they did that? Would the fan base be willing to accept a Bill Belichick here in San Francisco? He took Tom Brady, 6th rounder, and made him the GOAT So can he do that if he came here? These are just what if stuff. I know a lot of people don't like what ifs, but hey, it's the off season. We have a whole lot of time on our hands to be able to think about these things that could happen. So, what if they did? Bill Belichick, he didn't use a whole lot of first rounders and second rounders to build his team. He used what was available, the best players available, and he took those players and made them really good players. And some of them he traded away, some of them he had developed, and they became really good players on other teams. So those are some things that you could look at. It could be one of those things, but I don't want to see Debo Sanders suiting up for another team. I want to see him here in San Francisco. There's unfinished business here. He even said it himself. And we got to get Brandon Ayuk's re-signed. So that's another thing that they need to look at. And Nick Bosa, that commands the most money that's going to happen. Um, and I read that he's going to be somewhere around $115 million with um, over 100 something dollars, or maybe that's the signing bonus that he will get up front. But there's just a lot of stuff going to happen before the season starts next year, and it's looking to be a really good one. But the off season is here, and there's a lot of reports of this may happen and that may happen. So, and those are the type of things that we like to talk about, and we check out and see if the scenarios will fit with the San Francisco 49ers. So, um, those are a couple of things that it will happen, and I believe that the San Francisco 49ers are going to get over the top. All right, that's some of the serious stuff. Hold up. Forgot to tell you guys that this Thursday is a day of reckoning. Nah, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to see what would happen. But what we can expect from the San Francisco 49ers in this long offseason is one, they're going to work on um, Brandon Ayuk's contract. They're going to work on Nick Bosa's contract. They're going to work on um, different things that they could do with Trey Lance. And I believe that Trey Lance is going to uh, he's going to break out this year. I think he's going to really do that. I remember years ago, um, what's this? It's a linebacker that we had. He was from Michigan State. His last name is Peterson, and he said that usually that players in the third year they break out. Now I ever heard that Trey Lance, he spent like every day he was throwing since COVID. He was throwing every single day except for like 2 days out of those days. So he's been throwing a lot, and I think he's this year he's going to really surprise a lot of people. This year is going to be the year that Trey Lance will surprise many people, and the fan base will be happy this year. Brock Purdy did an amazing job for a rookie to come in and do what he did. And everybody talks about it. Even Trey Lance give him a lot of credit. Man, he just came in and he just balled out and did everything that he needed to do. And everybody is right. Brock Purdy, if healthy, he should be the starter. That's not what's in question. What's in question is Trey Lance and his availability to be able to play throughout the whole season. And I think he can. I think that Trey Lance will surprise a lot of people, the fan base, whether they're for Jimmy Garoppolo or for Brock Purdy, I think they'll be very pleased of the performance that Trey Lance will have this year. And if I'm wrong, hey, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, then you heard it right here on the Big Mac Sports Show. So that's that's going to be very interesting this year. It's going to be very interesting what happens because I believe that Trey Lance is going to do something very special this year. Um, and I hope that Brock Purdy is ready to go. But those kind of injuries, it takes more than just get ready for this year. There's going to be a lot more time that he's going to need to be able to really compete and not have the doubts in his head if it's the next person that swipes at my arm, am I going to get hurt from that? Is that going to break the tendons again in my arm? So those are the type of things that he's going to have in the back of his head. But if he gets rid of that and he comes in and he plays like he did this year, then yeah, it's warranted that they will have a healthy quarterback competition. And but I really think that Trey Lance, this is the year that he's going to showcase his talents. And the reason why the San Francisco 49ers drafted him third overall and traded a lot of draft picks and capital for him, I think this is the year that he will do that. So it's going to be a really good thing to see when it happens, and it's going to start. I believe that Trey Lance said that he's going to start running and throwing by the end of March. And if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. Show it in the comments below. Let me know. But I really sincerely think that Trey Lance is going to have a breakout year this year. I'm going to give him that much credit because nobody has seen what he could do. If he didn't get hurt in the second game against the Seahawks, then I believe that things would have been different. Because if he would have got hurt later on in the year and Brock Purdy came in for him or Jimmy Garoppolo, we probably would have had some healthy guys still in that NFC Championship game. But that's not what happened. Reality is they all got hurt. They all got hurt. All four quarterbacks that we had in the house, they all got hurt. So I believe that we are going to see a lot of touchdowns thrown by Trey Lance this coming year. And if I'm a fool for saying that, then oh well, I said it. Change my mind. Tell me otherwise. Because he's doing the right things of rehabbing. He's doing the things that he needs to and saying all the right things too when he gets on different programs. So he's saying a lot of different things out there that helps him and helps him with his character. So this year, I'm calling it now, this Thursday, that this is Trey Lance's year. He's going to showcase everything that he has because it's that third year coming in, even though he didn't play many games, but this is the year that he's going to showcase that his abilities, the reason why they went third overall to pick him. And if I'm wrong for calling it, hey, I called it now. I called it. I'm calling it right now. This February 16th, 2023, you heard it right here. Big Mac Sports, Mafi's telling everybody in the world this is the guy that San Francisco needs to have to be their quarterback this year. I love what Brock Purdy did, but this year is Trey Lance's year. He's going to showcase every bit of talent that he has. It's going to happen this year. And I can see Kyle Shanahan really likes his players to come on the field, usually the second year. Some of them played in the first year, and then you have like Avery Thomas who didn't even play this whole. I don't remember. I saw him on special teams, but that was special teams. I didn't see him out there being the guy. So Lenore did that. Next year, I can see Danny Gray getting in there. And Larry Kruger and I talked about this a couple weeks ago that he's got a dance that he's going to perform. And I believe Trey Lance to Gray is going to be a frequent um, saying next year. He's going to be in the end zone a lot next year. I'm calling it right now. This Thursday, I'm calling everything this Thursday. Next year, you will see Lance to Gray, Lance to Sanders, to Samuel, Lance to Ayuk, Lance to Kittle. That's another point. I think that he's going to throw a lot to George Kittle, and it's going to make a big difference because a lot of people are going to focus in on those short throws, their uh, 10 to 15 yarders to Kittle, and they're going to sleep sometimes on the receivers that we have. Oh, let me not forget Ray McLeod or Christian McCaffrey coming out of the backfield. We have a lot of weapons that are going to be used next year, and I'm saying it right now that Trey Lance is going to be the quarterback. He's going to use every single, how you want to call it, every single yard on the field. He's going to use all the arsenals that he has, which is George Kittle, Juszczyk, Christian McCaffrey. If Mitchell's here, Mitchell, whoever it is, the receivers that we have, Ayuk, Samuel, Ray McLeod, and Danny Gray. I see it happening. I see it happening. It's going to happen. Now, the trickiest part of this all comes down to, and maybe somebody can whisper in Mike McGlinchey's ears, I'm here. I can help you be that right tackle. But man, there's a lot of people that's worked with you and you haven't done what you were taught from high school, college, and in the pros. There's just some fundamentals that you still need to have. Good at run blocking. Pass blocking, he's okay. What's tough is he is like one of the highest graded right tackles that's going to be out in free agency this year. So, what do we do in the right tackle area? I want a guy, I want them to draft a guy, but Mike McGlinchey could be salvageable. He could be. He just needs somebody to get through to him, or he needs to squat a lot more weight. It's just, you can't be that big and get tossed around by a 245-pound guy. We've said it before. We've seen him getting tossed like a rag doll by the Cowboys guy. So we've seen it before. I'm just saying, if Mike McGlinchey can just get out of his head and play like a freaking right tackle, then we don't have to go through this. We don't have to draft him. We already have guys that are there, and he just needs to do what he's paid to do. Freaking protect the quarterback. That's all. And what Michael Parsons did to him in that Cowboys game, that was so embarrassing. He's a big dude. He shouldn't be getting tossed around like that. So, what's up, Wolf? Let me know if you want to jump in here, unless you're working. So today, I do a lot of cement work. I do a lot of concrete work. Are we going to pay the top dollar for good people to come in and help this Niner team? Or are we going to stick with just a regular brush finish cement job? No color, no stamp, none of that. We just need things to happen. And it's going to start March 13th. And then they can start signing players on the 15th. But those are the key guys right there. Mike McGlinchey, if you're going to stay with the San Francisco 49ers, I'll freaking train you, dude. I'll come out there and I'll train you so you don't get tossed around like a freaking rag doll on the field, embarrass yourself in front of millions. So that's the simple thing right there. If you want me to, I'll come down there. I'll help you do this. Help you get everything right, your technique, get it down. But that's what you just need to do, Mike McGlinchey. If you can hear me, and then Trey Lance, this is your year. You gotta shine. You gotta shine. Or next year I'll be like, oh boy, here we go again. But this is your year, Trey Lance. You got to do it. So it's the offseason starts on the 13th. The 15th they can sign players, and then next week we'll hear more about Brock Purdy, his surgery, and everything. But I really believe I got it in my gut right now. If you're a betting person, go put it down in Vegas. You'll win some money. Trey Lance is going to be the quarterback, and he's going to showcase his talents because he's hungry. He wants to show everybody that he can do it, and I believe he can. So if you hear me, Trey Lance, I got your back, man. I know you can do it this year. So it's your season. It's going to be your year. Go out there and prove it to the world, and you can. You can. You got all the right tools. Everything is there for you. Stay healthy. Stay mentally healthy also. That's another thing that all these players need to have is that right mentality in their mind on um, how to play the game, how to get rid of the noise, they would say, and everybody that's out there in the media. I can't stand the freaking mainstream media. Why? They freaking tell all kind of lies out there, talking all this mess, and then when they're proven wrong, they come back. Oh yeah, we've seen this before. We knew this was going to happen. I said this before. I said this was going to happen. They're going to get it done. Okay, so Trey Lance is going to get it done. They're going to sign Nick Bosa. They're going to sign really good free agents this year, and I'm calling it right now. Trey Lance. Come December, everybody will be saying, "Oh, now he's." That's why they picked him in the third as the third pick in the NFL draft. That's why they gave up all this capital. That's what you're gonna hear in December. You're gonna hear it early with a lot of doubts, everything sprinkled in there. But come December, everybody is going to talk about this is the guy that they took in the third round because he has all this talent. So you're going to hear it in December next year. I'm calling it. And if I'm wrong, hey, I put it out there. Trey Lance is going to have a good season. And I'm calling it out right now. All right. The other person that's we just need to let him go. Javon Kinlaw, you're a good player. You're great when you're healthy. But it's just one of those things. Bad knees historically for the San Francisco 49ers has been really bad. Navarro Bowman didn't come back 100% from his injury. We drafted a kid from South Carolina. He came in, he never saw the field. His knee was so messed up that he didn't even play one down in the NFL. We have a lot of those type of players that come in here. We even have players with back injuries that they knew had back injuries, and they still wasted a draft on them. They still did that. So we need the San Francisco 49ers, that front office, to pick players that are healthy, always healthy, and not bring these projects in that have messed up knees and messed up backs. Don't do it. Learn from your past and move on from there. So I'm calling it now. Trey Lance is going to have a great year. Danny Gray is going to see the end zone a whole lot. Brandon Ayuk is going to see the end zone a whole lot. Debo Samuels will see the end zone a whole lot. Christian McCaffrey, he's going to juke the heck out of people, jump over another one, and just go through two guys on his way to the end zone. The only touchdown we had in that Eagles game. But his talent is great. We're going to see Jordan Mason have the really good second year. I believe he's going to have a really good second year. And George Kittle will find that a lot of targets from Trey Lance. All right. That was like a winded 30-minute show. I will be back later today if he will come on with me. I have a nephew. They won the state championship in California, and I'm going to do a show with him later on this evening. So, till this evening, I will bring him back on for about 30 minutes, and we'll talk about where he sees himself in 4 years when he graduates. So, the Niners just got to do it. I believe Trey Lance can do it this year. If Brock Purdy's healthy, they'll have a good, healthy competition. But Trey Lance, he should be the starter going into this next season. And I think good things are going to happen. So have a good Thursday, everybody. And I'll see you later.